Hey, friends, it's Tara, your yoga bestie, and it's exciting because we have moved into our fifth chakra, so the throat chakra today. And I have a really great story to tell before we move into it. But before I do that, make sure you have 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. Maybe you have a pillow or a blanket to put underneath you so that you can open up more to the chest and get into the throat. But I had a student that I hadn't seen in a few weeks come into class this week, and she hadn't come in because she had COVID, and she still doesn't have a voice, and was concerned that people wouldn't want to be around her, and they would judge her because she was there, even though she's no longer contagious. But anyway, long story short, at the end of class, after our throat chakra class, her voice was back. Anyway, so amazing. It's awesome. Yoga's so awesome. Anyway, so if you have your blocks, we're going to have one on the highest. That's where you're going to be, where your head will be. And the other block is going to be at the second height, and it's going to be right underneath the shoulder blades, allowing your shoulders to come over. And then you have that other block for your head. If there's anything that feels sharp, because that's an indication of pain, then don't do that. If this feels okay, that doesn't mean it's not uncomfortable. There will be discomfort for sure. If that feels just like regular discomfort, like a lot of our yoga poses, feel free to bring your arms out to the sides, and you can have your soles of the feet onto the mat, or you could extend the legs or bring the soles of the feet together. So whatever is calling you. And then we're going to start to tap into our Ujjayi breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose, letting go of any thoughts or worries so that we can focus our breath and just this present moment on our practice. Our Ujjayi breath is an audible breath, so you're going to hear a snoring like sound in the back of the throat, kind of like you're fogging up a mirror. And let's start out by inhaling to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continue with this rhythm, knowing that you can always add or subtract any counts. And I already told you we're talking about the fifth chakra today. It's our little buddy Lionel. The throat chakra also encompasses our neck and our jaw and our mouth and our ears. Our fifth chakra is responsible for things like expression and communication and authenticity and listening. This class requires listening quite a bit because we're going to be turned around. When we're turned around, it's already kind of complicated. So we just have to think about, okay, now I really need to turn on my listening skills. But that's why we repeat everything, right? So it's all going to be good. Our fifth chakra is associated with a light blue color or a turquoise. So you might envision a light blue or turquoise coming from your throat. And the affirmation that I'm offering up that coincides with our fifth chakra is, I align my words with my highest truth. Again, I align my words with my highest truth. And this is so important in our yoga practice that any of those conversations that we're having in our head are not those negative ones. So be really mindful about how you talk to yourself. I like to say that talk to yourself like you would your best friend or someone you really care about, because you do. That's you. And if it's helpful to use this affirmation, please do. I'll be referring to it throughout our practice. Again, it's I align my words with my highest truth. And then on your next inhale, is it a nice full body stretch? So with those blocks underneath you, it's going to create more of a back bend. Just notice that as you reach the arms up overhead, maybe extending those legs out in front of you. And then you can bring the soles of the feet onto the mat, rolling to one side so that you can remove the blocks. And then we're just going to come right back onto our backs, getting a nice full body stretch, noticing what that feels like without the props underneath. And then let's bring our hands together at our heart center, our Anjali Mudra, as we set our intention for our practice. So maybe that intention involves our affirmation of, I align my words with my highest truth. And take a big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. And then opening up the eyes, we'll start to bring our knees into our chest, giving them a nice big hug as we rock along the spine, maybe finding our happy baby pose. Just noticing how the body is feeling as you start to bring in movement with your breath. Big inhale. Exhale, bring those knees into your chest. Give them a nice big hug, maybe round the spine, draw the nose towards the knees. And then we're gonna start to rock and roll forward and back. So as we rock and roll forward and back, we might make these large movements, like our legs come back almost like we're in plow pose. So rolling forward and back as many times as you need to. We're gonna meet in a tabletop position. So coming onto our hands and knees. And we're gonna go into our puppy pose. Can you show us how that's done, Lionel? But our puppy pose is a nice heart opener, also gets into the throat. So we're gonna bring our chest down. And maybe our forehead is on the mat. If there's more space, you might be able to place your chin onto the mat. And then I like to bring my palms to where they face one another, relaxing those shoulders a little bit more. And just breathing into this space. One more breath in. Exhale. And then slither forward onto your belly for Sphinx pose. So the forearms are there. Might wiggle a little bit in the hips. And if you feel any discomfort in the lower back, maybe draw that belly button up. See if that helps. Think about drawing your shoulders back as you lift up through the chest. Maybe your gaze starts to lift. And then we're going to find some neck movements here. I love doing any sort of movement from this space because you can't drop your head so far back and to where it goes further than you want to. So this way we can just bring our chin from side to side. Nice. And then from here, we'll slide those hands back underneath our shoulders as we make our way into our first down dog of our practice. So just bicycling the legs out or any movement that feels good to you at this time. Big breath in. Exhale. And then on our inhale, shift it forward into your plank or push-up position, nice and strong. Exhale, we'll push it back into our down dog. Inhale forward. Exhale, down dog. Once more, we inhale forward. Exhale, we're gonna lower all the way onto our bellies. Once more. We'll bring the tops of the feet into the mat. Hands are underneath the shoulders as we inhale, lifting up Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana. And as we exhale, we'll lower. And we'll start to move through these at the pace of our own breath. Feel free to change up anything, maybe coming onto your fingertips in a wide stance, and then incorporating some shoulder dips. Next time the forehead lowers, making your way back into your down dog. And we're put a big bend in the knees as we gaze forward, and we'll make our way all the way to the top of the mat. So we can walk up there. If you want to float, feel free to float. We'll find that forward fold. We're just going to roll all the way up to standing, working those shoulders all the way up, back, and down. And then as we inhale, reach the arms up overhead. As we exhale, bring those arms behind the back. We're going to interlace the fingers. If the palms can touch, maybe bring the palms together. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Just work those hands down as you lift up through the chest and the gaze. As we exhale, coming into our forward fold. So feel free to bend those knees a lot as you shift forward. And you can keep them bent as you come into this space. Maybe you rock from side to side or shake the head out as if you're saying yes and no. Big breath in. Exhale, we'll release our arms. Fingertips come to toes or hands to shins as we lengthen halfway. And then plant the hands as you step the left foot back, coming into your runner's lunge. So maybe having those blocks if you like to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. Because we're going to start to shift forward and back from our runner's lunge to a pyramid-like pose. Know that you can always lower that back knee down. You can always linger somewhere a little bit longer. Just making any adjustments for what you need. And then next time you shift it forward, lower that back knee down, right above the kneecap as you reach the arms up overhead, coming into Salamba Anjane. So our supported crescent pose. Inhale. As we exhale, we're going to scissor the arms. So left arm forward, right arm back. And then make sure your back toes are tucked under because the right knee is going to meet the left knee. And we'll have all 10 toes tucked under as we come into a half camel. So we can bring our right hand to the small of our back as we reach up through those left fingertips, or maybe we can reach for that heel if that's accessible. Exhale, and then we'll switch it out. So left hand comes to the small of the back, or maybe we find that heel. So reach up through the right fingertips for our half camel pose. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. We're going to step the right foot forward, coming into our runner's lunge, so back knee lifts, and then moving into skandasana from side to side. So our side lunges, getting all those snap, crackles, and pops out. And know that this can be as high or as low as you like. Maybe the hands are at heart center. Maybe you're walking your hands from side to side. We'll meet back towards the front of the mat or the top of the mat as we come into whatever variation you like. Maybe it's a twist. Maybe it's staying upright. Maybe it's walking those hands forward, breathing space into the lower back. Inhale. Exhale. And then face forward. We're in our runner's lunge. And we're going to move into our one-legged down dog. So we're going to open up that hip right away, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. We can stay or we can start to make some circles going in one direction, going in the other direction. And then we'll open up that hip, full body yawn. And we're going to keep reaching that foot down to where it touches the floor of the mat. And we're going to come onto our seat. So as we come onto our seat, we have our right knee bent and our left leg extended. This is something we're going to be doing a lot. So it's okay if you come a little bit off the mat. It's all good. And we're going to bring our hands down, coming into this reverse. I'm calling it reverse table, but it's reverse table plank, right? So lifting up through the chest, maybe dropping that head back as you breathe into the throat. Inhale. Exhale, lower. So the next part is also something we're going to be doing quite a bit. It's our wild thing. So know that the leg that's extended is where the hand comes down. The leg that's bent, that's where the arm goes up. So we're coming onto the ball of that right foot as we lift up those hips. Maybe find some movement here this first time, making some circles with the arm, bending and straightening the leg. And then we'll reach up overhead. We're moving into spinal balance. So right arm stays up. You're going to gaze towards the front of your mat, bringing your right knee down, and then left leg lifts. Exhale, we bring everything to center. Inhale, we extend. Exhale to center. Inhale, extend. Exhale, center. Maybe we find our foot for our compass pose, where we gaze underneath the right arm. Otherwise, we're bringing that foot all the way through in between the hands, so both versions get us there. And then we bring the right foot to meet the left foot at the top of the mat, coming into our forward fold. Let's reverse all the way up for reaching up and back. And as we exhale, bring the arms behind the back, interlace the unusual way. Again, option to bring those palms together. And then we'll reach those hands down as we lift up through the chest. Exhale, coming into our forward fold with the shoulder opener. Feel free to shake out the head. Big breath in. Exhale, release your hands, fingertips to toes or hands to shins as we lengthen halfway. And then plant the palms as you step the right foot back this time, coming into your runner's lunge. So again, maybe having those blocks available. And we start to shift forward and back from here. Next time we shift it forward, lowering that back knee down right above the kneecap, coming into our supported crescent pose. Inhale. Exhale, we're scissoring those arms. So right arm forward, left arm back. And make sure those back toes are tucked under so you can easily bring that left knee, or easier, bring that left knee to where all 10 toes are tucked under. And then we come into our half camel pose. So left hand comes the small of the back or towards that heel as you reach up to the right fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, we'll switch it out. Left arm is up, right arm is down, coming into our half camel pose. And then we gaze straight ahead. Left foot is going to step forward. And we come into our runner's lunge, setting up for skandasana. So moving from side to side into these side lunges, maybe with a little bit more ease since we've been here. Once you come back towards the front, find your version. Maybe it's staying upright or finding a twist or walking the hands forward. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we face forward. We're in that runner's lunge where we come into our one-legged down dog. So opening up that hip, heel to behind, knee up towards the ceiling. Stay here. Or make your circles going in one direction, going in the other direction. And then we open up that hip. We keep opening until that left foot comes onto the floor or the mat, and we take our seat. So this time, right leg is extended, left knee is bent, and we come into that reverse table variation. Big breath here. Exhale, wild thing. So right hand to the outside of the right leg, because that's the one that's extended. And we'll come onto the ball of that left foot as we lift up, maybe finding some movement here. We're moving into that spinal balance next. So from here, lowering that left knee down, keeping the left arm up, and then right leg extends. Inhale, exhale, center. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, center. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, center. Maybe we find that foot to move into that compass variation, gazing underneath the left armpit. Otherwise, we bring that foot all the way in between the hands, coming into our runner's lunge, and then left foot meets right foot at the top of our mat as we come into our forward fold. Let's reverse all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, bring the arms behind the back. Inhale, draw those hands down as you lift up through the chest. Maybe drop the head back. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips to toes or hands to shins as we lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float back. Lowering or hovering. Inhaling into our cobra or up dog. Exhaling into our down dog. And we'll take a big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. Bending the knees, we gaze forward as we step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse. Arms come behind the back. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips to toes, lengthening. Hands plant as we make our way to our down dog. So you can always skip these vinyasas. Totally up to you. Once we find our down dog, full breath in. Exhale. Bend those knees, gaze forward as we step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse. Arms come behind the back. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, forward fold. We'll release, lengthening halfway. Hands plant. Make your way to your down dog or any resting position of choice. That concludes our warm-up. So we'll be moving into our first main sequence of the practice. If you're new to my class, we do 2 main sequences that we repeat a couple times with more pacing. And then we bring those 2 together at the end, creating one full long sequence. I call the first one peanut butter, the second one jelly, and then we bring them together for one delicious peanut butter and jelly sequence sandwich at the end. All right, so we're gonna be starting at the top of our mat here. So when you're ready, we'll make our way there. Keeping in mind our affirmation, we can inhale the words, I align my words. Exhaling with my highest truth. Again, I align my words with my highest truth. So let's make our way to our mountain pose at the top of the mat. From here, we're going to inhale, coming into boat pose, Utkatasana. So sit it back into the heels, arms can extend, our hands can be at heart center, and we're just gonna keep lowering all the way on to our booty. And then we come into our boat pose. So we can have our hands down and our toes onto the mat. Maybe we start to lift up the legs, maybe we start to straighten more, maybe we reach those arms forward. Any version that is working in your body, feel free to do that. Spread through those toes, bring your gaze up. Inhale. As we exhale, lower the left foot down, right leg's extended. Does it look familiar? It should. So we're gonna come into that reverse table. As we inhale, lift. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, wild thing. So coming onto the ball of that left foot. We're moving into spinal balance facing the back of the mat. So left knee is down, right leg is up, and we bring it in for 3, 2, 1. Option to compass, or we bring that foot through, coming into our runner's lunge. And then we're moving into full crescent pose. So arms will reach up overhead, feet are parallel. Maybe you find a little bit of a bounce here for this first time. Inhale. Exhale, lower the hands down, one-legged down dog. So bring that right leg back. And then we're moving into fallen triangle. So that knee goes across to meet that left tricep. So we're twisting in the torso. We extend that leg as we reach the left arm up. Like wild thing, maybe we find some movement here. And if this is a lot in your body, we're going to be coming into this gate pose next anyway. So you can always bring this right knee underneath you if that feels better in your body than the full version of fallen triangle pose. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, bring that leg underneath you. So if you're already here, cool. If not, we bring it right underneath so that we can lift up the torso, reaching that right arm up and overhead. So you're reaching towards the front of the mat or the top of the mat. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, bring that hand down. Bring the left hand down. And then bring the right leg behind you like wild thing, but we're just coming onto our seat. And guess what? We have the opposite leg extended, which means we don't do chair and boat pose. So you're welcome. So from here, we'll inhale, lifting up into that reverse table. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, wild thing, reaching that right arm up. Exhale, bring that right knee down as we come into spinal balance to the back. Right arm extends, left arm's back, our left leg's back. And then we bring it in for 3, 2, 1 with optional compass pose. You can bring that foot all the way through for our runner's lunge to full crescent. Again, maybe finding that little bounce if that feels good. So we're facing the back a lot in this first sequence. So that's why I said it takes a lot of listening skills. From here, bring those hands down, one-legged down dog, shoot it back. And then we're bringing it across to meet our right tricep as we move into fallen triangle pose. So maybe finding that movement like we did previously. Please know that if this version doesn't work in your body today, to bring that left knee underneath you, or we'll all meet in a moment anyway. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bring that knee underneath you, gate pose. We lift up the torso, reaching that left arm overhead. Nice, and then we'll bring that hand down. We bring the right hand down, and we bring that left foot behind as we come onto our seat. Ready for that first side again. So we'll move with a little bit more pacing. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, wild thing. Bringing that left knee down as you face the back for spinal balance. We bring it to center for 3, for 2, 1. Bringing that foot through, crescent pose, arms reach. And then hands come down, one-legged down dog. Bring it across for fallen triangle pose on your inhale. Exhale, bring that knee underneath you, gate pose. Lift up the torso, reaching up and overhead. And then right hand comes down. Left hand comes down as we bring that right leg behind and find our seat. Inhale, reverse table. Exhale. Inhale, wild thing. Spinal balance to the back. We draw it in for 3, for 2, for 1. Bringing that foot all the way through. Runner's lunge to full Anjaneyasana, crescent pose. And then hands come down, one-legged down dog. Bring it across for fallen triangle pose on your inhale. Exhale, knee draws underneath you. We lift up for gate pose. And then left hand comes down, right hand comes down as we bring that foot behind onto our seat. You're doing great. Inhale, reverse table. Exhale, lower. Inhale, wild thing. Lowering that left knee down as we face the back for spinal balance. We bring it in for 3, for 2, for 1. Bring it all the way through, crescent pose. Hands come down, one-legged down dog. Bring it across, fallen triangle pose. Right knee underneath, lift up the torso for your gate pose. And then right hand comes down, left hand comes down as we bring that right foot behind, we're on our seat. Inhale, reverse table. Exhale, lower. Inhale, wild thing. Lowering that knee as we face the back, spinal balance. We bring it to center for 3, for 2, 1, bringing that foot through, crescent pose, arms reach. And then hands come down, one-legged down dog. Bring it across for fallen triangle pose. To gate, bringing that knee underneath as you lift up. And then we'll bring both hands down, left foot comes behind, and go ahead and bring both soles of the feet onto the mat. Find a full reverse table. Treat yourself. Big breath in. Exhale, we lower. Woo! We did it. We did a peanut butter. Time for jelly. So before we go there, just take a moment to check in with your breath. Be proud of yourself. Put a smile on your face. That's going to help with all those good thoughts. Speaking of which, our affirmation, I align my words with my highest truth. Again, I align my words with my highest truth. So we're coming back to the top of our mat, mountain pose for jelly. So make your way there however you want to. Let all that go for a moment. And we're coming into chair pose. So we'll inhale, sitting back into those heels, arms can extend. As we exhale, we're twisting. So we're bringing that right arm behind us, coming into those scissor arms, left arm forward. And see if you can really sit back into those heels. So play with lifting up the toes. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your weight into the right leg. Lower the left knee down. Once that left knee is down, we bring the right knee to meet it. And then we're coming into our half camel like we did in the warm-up. So right hand to the small of the back, or we find that heel. And then we switch, right arm up, left arm down. Gazing straight ahead, step your right foot forward, and we're moving into half moon. So maybe have a block there for your right hand as you open up, lifting up that left arm and leg, flexing through the foot. Big breath. As we exhale, big bend in that knee till we land that foot because we're moving into Skandasana to the back. From here, we're just shifting forward to Warrior 2. So our hips are square towards that long edge of the mat. Make sure that knee is over the ankle. You can extend those arms out, maybe palms face up as you gaze past those fingertips. Super strong and straight back leg helps keep you anchored here. Inhale. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Option to take your vinyasa or go right to down dog. Big bend in the knees as we gaze forward. We'll step or float to the top. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, forward. So inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, we twist towards the left. So scissoring those arms, right arm forward, left arm back. Bring your weight into those heels. Big breath here. Exhale, shift the weight into the left foot. Bring that right knee down. So we're keeping this twist in this supported crescent variation. And then left knee meets right knee. All 10 toes tuck under, half camel. Finding your version with that right arm up. And then we switch it out. Gaze forward. Step your left foot forward this time. Maybe you have your block because we're moving into our half moon. Opening up towards the other side of the room. Flexing through that foot. Working the weight forward towards the ball of the foot. Exhale, really big bend in that left knee so you can land that foot. And we come all the way to the back skin. Then we shift it forward for Warrior 2. Palms might face up. Relaxing those shoulders, checking in with the breath. Big inhale. Exhale, cartwheel it down. Option to go right to down dog or take your vinyasa. All right, we'll start to pick up the pace. So bend the knees, gaze forward as you step or float. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we twist to the right with those scissor arms. Bringing the weight into the right foot, left knee comes down, and then right knee comes down. Inhale, half camel, left arm up, and then we switch. Gazing straight ahead, right foot steps forward for half moon. Ooh. Big bend in the knee, soft landing all the way to Skandasana, and then we shift it forward for warrior two. Leading with that left arm, we cartwheel it down, making our way to our down dog. Big bend in the knees, gaze forward as you step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we twist to the left with those scissor arms. Right knee comes down. Left knee meets it, half camel, right arm up. And then we switch. Gaze straight ahead. Step the left foot forward for half moon. Big bend in the knees, soft landing, all the way to Skandasana. And then we shift it forward, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel it down, make your way to your down dog. Big bend in the knees, gaze forward as you step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we twist to the right. We bring that left knee down. The right knee meets it as we find our camel pose or half camel. And then our other half camel. And then we gaze straight ahead. Right foot steps forward for half moon. And then big bend in the knees, soft landing all the way to Skandasana. Shifting it forward into our warrior two. Leading with that left arm, we'll cartwheel it all the way down, making our way into our down dog. So close, big bend in the knees. We gaze forward as we step or float. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we twist to the left. Right knee comes down. Left knee comes down. Half camel. Switch it up. Gaze straight ahead, left foot steps forward for half moon. Big bend all the way to Skandasana. And then we shift it forward for warrior two. Leading with that right arm, we cartwheel it down, making our way to down dog or any resting position of choice. How you feeling? I hope awesome. Take a moment to let that sink in. Slow down the breath. Maybe shut the eyes down for a moment. I align my words with my highest truth. I've got really great news. My favorite part of the practice is next. It's peanut butter and jelly time. That means we're doing this once more. It's my favorite part because we do it once more and we bring them together. Let's make our way to the top of the mat. Give yourself a pep talk as you walk your way there because you're going to do amazing. Your body's ready to go there. And we only have one small shift that has to take place to bring the two together. But don't worry, I'll be there for you. So come into your mountain pose. Remember chair to boat or to seated to boat. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, we lower our seat. Boat pose. And then we bring the left foot down. We keep that right leg extended as we lift up into our reverse table and then lower. Inhale, wild thing, coming onto the ball, that left foot. To spinal balance, we face the back. And we bring it in for 3, for 2, 1, bringing that foot all the way through for full crescent pose. And then hands come down, one-legged down dog. Bring it across for fallen triangle pose. Bring that knee underneath you for gate pose. So lift up the torso, reach that arm up overhead. And then right hand comes down. This is the change. Lift up the left leg. Swing that foot to the back of your mat. And then the right foot meets it for chair pose. We twist towards the right. We bring that left knee down. And then the right knee meets it as we come into half camel pose. And then we switch. Right foot steps forward as we come into our half moon. Big bend in that knee, soft landing, Skandasana to the front of the mat. And then warrior two, facing the back. Leading with that left arm, we'll cartwheel it down, making our way to our down dog, which means the first side is done. Gaze forward as we step or float to the back of the mat. All right, inhale, chair pose. Exhale, keep lowering all the way onto your seat till we find our boat pose. This time, right knee bends, left leg stays extended, and then we push into that reverse table and then lower. Wild thing, right arm reaches up as we come on the ball of that foot, and then we're coming into spinal balance facing forward. Right knee comes down, left leg extends, and we bring it to center for 3, for 2, 1. Bring it all the way through for crescent pose, arms reach. And then we lower those hands, one-legged down dog. Bring it across for fallen triangle pose. Right arm reaches up to gate. So bring that left knee underneath you, lift all the way up and over. And then this is where we switch. Left hand comes down, right leg lifts. We're gonna swing that right foot all the way to the top of the mat. Left foot meets it for chair pose. And then we twist to the left. We bring that right knee down. Left knee meets it for half camel pose. And when we switch, gaze forward, left foot steps forward for half moon. And then big bend in the knees, soft landing, all the way to Skandasana. We shift it forward, warrior two. And then leading with the right arm, we cartwheel it all the way down, meeting in our down dog. Yay! You did it. Well done. Make your way to seated. Check in with your breath. Slow it down. We're going to come onto our backs. So if you want, you could have any props that might feel nice nearby. And then we'll bring our hands forward as we start to slowly lower all the way onto our backs. From here, we're going to come into our reclined pigeon pose. We're going to bring that right ankle to meet the left knee. And we might gently press to the inside of that knee. We might have a block underneath that foot to bring that floor up a little bit so you have more sensation. Or maybe you have the space to interlace the fingers behind the knee or across the shin. And if you have this version, maybe you rock along the spine. Maybe you use your elbow as leverage to push that knee further forward. And while we're here, we're going to do bee breath, which is a really great way to just calm the nervous system. And it has no contraindications. And you really can't think about anything else when you're humming, which is basically what you're doing. So the inhale is just in through the nose. And our exhale is and that's it. Soon as you're done with that exhale, inhale again in through the nose. Exhaling. One more, we inhale. Exhale. Yes. And then we'll release that coming into a spinal twist. So let the legs fall over towards the left. You can keep that knee up, or maybe you let it rest on top of the other leg. Maybe gazing past your right fingertips here. Big breath in. Exhale. And then bring your gaze to center. Bring your legs to center. Give them a nice squeeze before going on the other side, which means bee breath is coming back. So we'll bring that left ankle to meet the right knee. And one side may be different than the other side. That's totally cool. You determine if you have it down on that foot on a block, or maybe find your bound version where you might rock along the spine and use your elbow as leverage to push that knee further forward. And then once you have your legs all set up, inhaling in through the nose, Exhaling through our mouth or through our deep breath. So our little humming. One more. We inhale. And then we'll release that for our spinal twist here. So feel free to use that bee breath in traffic before you're to have a really tough conversation. If you're just not in a good mood, it's amazing how it feels nice. One more breath in. Exhale. And then bring your gaze and your legs to center. Maybe give them one last hug, or if there's anything else that you need to feel complete in your practice today, this is that time to do it. Otherwise, we're going to make our way into our final pose of Shavasana, our final relaxation. So we can extend our legs out in front of us, letting the feet fall freely to the sides, arms down by our sides, palms face up. And I like to say to take up space here on your mat, because our practice is a reflection of our lives off the mat. So if we take up space here, we take up space once we go out into the world. And then have so much gratitude for showing up today, so much gratitude for all the hard work that you put in, so much gratitude for this feeling that you created. Be proud of yourself because you did amazing. You know what? I'm proud of you because you are amazing, making this commitment to you and putting on all that hard work. So now just allow the breath to be soft and the body to be still. No worries, just be. Shavasana. And as usual, please stay in Shavasana as long as you need. Knowing that when you're ready, you can start to deepen your breath and invite in small movements. Maybe reaching the arms up overhead, extending those legs out in front of you as you awaken into this new body. And then bring the knees into your chest. Give them a nice big hug as you roll to your side in your fetal-like pose, our pose for new beginnings. And just taking this feeling with you as you leave the mat. That is when our true yoga begins. We'll meet in a seated position of choice where hands will come to heart center, our Anjali Mudra as we tuck our chin under. I align my words with my highest truth. Thanks so much for being here, for allowing me to lead you. It's such an honor. Until next time, namaste. Bye.